Now that the War of Swords has ended, reunification can begin for the mutant people. What'll happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of X-Men issue number 16 and find out together, shall we? So then, this newest issue actually deals with the direct fallout from X of Swords. Cyclops and his two children are out today to see the rejoining of the two islands, Krakoa and Erico, once torn apart by war, now set to be reunited in no small part because of, well, war. Cable thinks that he's about to see some more hardcore island sex as we had seen previously. But just at the big moment when it looks like their tendrils are about to touch one another, they stop and then nothing happens. Man, anticlimactic, am I right? The two islands not rejoining each other after all of this time is actually a pretty big problem, and it's Cypher who ends up getting tasked to deal with this. After all, he's the only one who can communicate between the two islands. But you see, that's just the problem. Like with all relationships, when communication breaks down, everything else is soon to fail, and it seems that after thousands of years apart, these islands have changed so much they don't even speak the same language anymore. A meeting of the Quiet Council is soon held to decide what exactly their next plan of action is. Magneto does a great job probably sounding like most of the X-Men fan base at this moment. Well, this is bullshit. What was the point of that whole X of Swords thing if the islands don't even get back together? Doug is quick to bring up the fact that he's now married, and everyone is very happy for him, but this is now neither the time or the place. Funnier still, turns out the people of Erico actually call Doug the boy husband. A new set of very pressing problems quickly becomes clear for Xavier and Magneto. Krakoa now has themselves a neighboring island filled with more mutants, different mutants than themselves. Hardened by generations of war and strife, who, get this, actually end up outnumbering the Krakoan mutants by a considerable margin. It's for all these reasons and more, Magneto and Professor X decide to go on something of a diplomatic mission. They hope that if they can gift Eska the Undefeated, the sister-in-law of Apocalypse, with a Krakoan gate of her own as well as a seat on their own Quiet Council, they hope that maybe they can calm all of this down before things get too out of hand. Here's the thing though, Eska has no time for the mutants of Krakoa or their little government. In fact, she's a little insulted that Xavier and the others would jump to the conclusion that the mutants of Erico are a bunch of savage knuckle-draggers who don't have their own evolved system of governance, which they do. It's just their style of governance ends up being, well, pretty savage, as anyone who actually holds any position of authority in the rings of Erico are not only great warriors, but Omega-level mutants unto themselves. Now, some of these characters we know, like Eska and Tarn the Uncaring, but there's also a bunch we don't know. In fact, they talk about a secret hidden ring of 3 mutants who may be more powerful than anyone. Eska also pretty thoroughly lays down the law with Eric and Chuck, saying that they shouldn't come back to Erico anytime soon, and if they do, they most certainly shouldn't come brandishing a flower. So in short, this was all a pretty big bust for Xavier and Magneto. Not only did they not fill the seat on the Quiet Council, but they didn't get any assurances about a new war breaking out. Still though, the remaining seat on the Quiet Council needs to be filled, and they think they have just the person, or should I say people. They actually want Jean Grey and Cyclops to take the chair together. But in a nice bit of continued character development from the end of X of Swords, Jean and Scott actually turned the position down. They say that they'll still be loyal and come when they're called, but they think they can actually enact more good for the people of the world and for the mutants of Krakoa by operating outside the Quiet Council. It's for all those reasons and more they want to actually restart up the X-Men. But instead of just being a regular old superhero team, this newest incarnation of the X-Men will speak as ambassadors for Krakoa, and because of that, they're not just going to handpick the new members, they want this to be a vote. Yeah, that's right, an election for who the new X-Men members should be. And it's on that note right there the comic comes to an end, everybody, and so that was X-Men number 16, and I gotta say I appreciate this one for dealing with the fallout of X of Swords more than just about any of the other books that are going on right now. In classic Hickman fashion, the story zigs when you think it's gonna zag. Oh, the two islands are gonna rejoin each other and Krakoa will become a bigger force than ever before. No, actually, they just adopted a bunch of new problems. The seat on the Quiet Council will be quickly filled. No, actually. In fact, the very nature of what the X-Men title is set to change itself, perhaps dealing less with mutant politics and more about actual team stuff. Hickman obviously gets a lot of credit for what he's done with the X-Men universe, but I think what he's done with Cyclops is really subtle and understated. I like the idea of him being a true, respectable leader once again to his people. One who's not afraid to clash with the ideas of his adopted father, Charles Xavier, and now the Greater Quiet Council. Basically exactly how I always like Cyclops. Overall, I think I'd feel comfortable giving this one a solid 8 out of 10. It's good stuff in showing that Hickman still has a lot of gas left in the tank when it comes to his big X-Men epic that is still ongoing. Hey there everyone, Cape Joel again, and I want to thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you see, be sure to like, subscribe, comment. It really helps drive engagement and helps me out too. Also, if you are a patron, which you can become for as little as $1 a month, you will get exclusive content that no one else can ever see, and you'll get to see the Comic Multiverse podcast before anyone else too. You can check out all this and more down in the description. And until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.